On the phone right now is a man that you know from The Voice. He is from Oklahoma. He is an absolute stud. His song Wild as Her is going up the charts. Congratulations to him on that. Ladies and gentlemen, Corey Kent.
Corey Kent!
Yeah, buddy!
What's up?
How are you?
I'm good, man. We're driving through a snowstorm in North Iowa right now.
Okay. It's 80 degrees here in Florida right now. Just wanted to let you know.
Beautiful. Thank you for that.
So maybe you need to get a little better tour manager and not do the shows in Iowa in February.
Listen, we got to take that up with Parker McCollum, okay?
Oh, it's Parker's fault.
And I asked him, I was like, bro, why did you plan your entire tour in the winter in the north?
Yeah.
Like, every city we have played so far, it's Detroit. I mean, it was -3 in Detroit when we played.
Yeah, that is
And
strange.
he's a Texas boy, too. He should know better than that. Do you think because he's, the Texas-Oklahoma rivalry, do you think he's doing this to you on purpose?
Yeah, this could be initiation for sure.
Let's get into this. Okay, so Wild as Her, big hit, love it. And but let's go back to The Voice. And I don't want to talk to you about auditioning for The Voice and all that. I just want to say, once The Voice is done, okay, what is the next step? What is the next phone call you get? How does that work from going from that show to, all right, now we're going for radio and finding the right song for yourself?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously, it's quite a big gap. That was 2015, and this is 2023. So it took a while to connect the dots. But right after The Voice, there were a couple of record deal opportunities on the table that didn't quite fit right. And so within 6 months, I was released from that contract. But that whole time, I was just touring. We were just playing as many shows as we could. And
With The Voice?
No, by myself.
Okay.
Yeah, with the same band that I played, with in college the whole time. And I was still in college at the time, so it just went right back to what I was doing before the show.
Oh.
Just playing. And then kind of had a rebranding moment where we just refocused and had like a really clear vision for the music and the direction of all the artwork and all that stuff and the live show, and kind of hit the ground running and started putting out songs really consistently, which wasn't, super common in the country realm starting in 2020. But that's when we started putting out a song every eight weeks. Kind of took a more, I would say, like hip-hop approach where it's like it doesn't necessarily have to live on a full record. We're just going to put out as many songs as we can.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of artists are following that game plan now. It's great. We can all be excited that this has worked out and your strategy has worked out because Wild as Her is such a big hit and you got other songs coming out as well. Talking to Corey Kent right now. Let me ask you this. When you have that high of being on The Voice and everybody's rooting for you and you're voting and, you're top of mind for so many people, and then there's that, I would assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, kind of a mental drop-off when the show ends and you kind of regather yourself, right?
Yeah, no doubt. It's kind of like living in a fantasy world, being on TV. It's a different kind of fame, I would say, where you're very recognizable, but it's not recognizable for your art, and that's a very different thing. But I think that you got to have kind of like this true North Star about you, that it's you believe in what you do and what you have to say and the way that you view the world and the way you can deliver that. And so for me, it was, while there were moments of like, man, is this going to work out? There was never a question of, was I doing the right thing? Like,
Gotcha.
Am I on the right path? It's like, yeah, absolutely. I'm doing what I need to be doing as an artist.
I like that. So let me ask you this question. So many people are trying to make it over that hump. They're trying to break in. What is some good advice that you could give to somebody who, just like yourself, who is trying to make it in this business? What is one thing that you've learned or one piece of good advice just to, for somebody out there?
I am really big on manifesting things because if you don't believe it, how do you expect somebody else to believe it?
Okay.
And that would be my biggest piece of advice is like learn. And I actually heard a Rick Rubin interview recently of just being the best skill set for an artist is to be able to be sure of your opinion on something, even when you have a bunch of other voices telling you differently. And it's not to prove that you're right and someone else is wrong. It's just like, hey, I am an artist and I am creating art that I love.
Yeah.
And so as long as you are on that path, regardless of how it's received, you are a successful artist.
Right.
And if you're doing it to, quote unquote, be successful or for the approval of other people, you might have success in the world's eyes, but you're probably a very unhappy person because you're riding on the emotions of whether people like you or not.
That's a really good way to look at it, man. talking to Corey Kent right now. So we talk about that, and then now we can talk about another great phone call you got, and that's from whoever called you to tell you that you're going to be touring with Jason Aldean and Mitchell Timpany.
Yeah.
How big is that, man?
Insane. What a dream. I remember getting that phone call. I was in my driveway. I just was sitting there, and I was like, I hung up the phone. I looked at my wife because we were sitting there. All three of our kids are in the back of our Suburban asleep. And she was like, what happened? I was like, we just accepted a tour with Jason Aldean. And she was like, what? You know, we had this like awesome moment. And it just hit me that literally from that point, less than about, I would say between 12 and 18 months before that moment, I was working at a pavement company in Dallas, Texas.
Wow.
And it just kind of all sank in at the same time of like, man, this has been a grind, and I've had to take a really unconventional route to provide for my family and to still keep this dream alive, and it's starting to pay off. It was just such a magical moment.
Well, congratulations, man.
Yeah.
That's so cool. You know, you're on tour with a great guy right now, Parker McCollum, who I think is maybe like, you know, as far as like launching into the stratosphere of country music, I feel like he's like maybe 2 years ahead of you, and he's kind of been in your same spot. Yeah. That's been kind of a cool thing for you probably, right? Being on tour with him and him kind of saying, get ready.
No doubt, man. He, in fact, we have our songs are kind of climbing the chart together.
Together they are, yeah. They're neck and neck.
And they've paced with each other, which is a nice vote of confidence for us because you're right. I mean, he's gone before us in a lot of ways. It's just been a great learning experience. He's been really helpful for us.
Well, Corey, we're going to see you here October 28th. I know that seems far away, but we're excited to see you here with Jason Aldean and Mitchell Timpany. The weather usually is still beautiful in October, so don't worry about that, man. You will not be cold.
Right on.
But we appreciate the heck out of you, man, and we are just so happy and rooting for you, and Wild as Her is a banger. So,
thank you, brother.
Keep it going, man.
Thank you. Right on. We'll see you guys in Florida. Looking forward to hanging.
All right, Corey. Yeah. We'll see you then, dude.
All
see
right.
you,
Talk to you.
All right, peace.
Bye-bye.